Hey there, welcome back to the healing journey. This is episode 13, and I want to share something that happened for me this week that I think connects to what a lot of people experience when they start doing this self-compassion work. So, I've been remembering different memories, moments from my childhood when things weren't quite right, small moments that I don't ever really think about normally. And I'm kind of realizing why some things are challenging for me now. It's like when you start being gentler with yourself, your mind feels safer to remember things that help explain your patterns and reactions. It's not big, dramatic memories, just little moments that shaped how I learned to protect myself or cope with things. And honestly, it's been both enlightening and kind of tender to connect those dots. I'm on this healing journey with you. We're figuring this out together. And what I've been thinking about is how when we start opening our hearts to ourselves with compassion, sometimes more feelings come up. Sometimes we become aware of old hurts or patterns we hadn't fully recognized before. Today we are going to talk about how to navigate this. How to soften your heart and allow yourself to feel without getting completely overwhelmed by the emotions. Because healing involves feeling, but it doesn't have to involve drowning. We are going to explore how to create space for your emotions to be there without taking over your whole life. How to feel things gently rather than either shutting down or getting swept away. And how to trust that your heart can handle feeling without breaking. Because sometimes when people start this journey of self-compassion and healing, they worry that if they let themselves feel everything, they will fall apart. But what we are going to learn is how to feel with support, how to soften without becoming defenseless. Let me start by talking about what I mean by softening the heart. Because this isn't about becoming emotionally vulnerable in an unsafe way, or letting everyone and everything affect you. Softening the heart means allowing yourself to feel your emotions without immediately trying to fix them, change them, or make them go away. It means creating internal space for your feelings to exist without judgment or resistance. For many of us, we learn to protect our hearts by hardening them. Maybe we learned that showing emotion was dangerous, that being sensitive made us targets, that feelings were inconvenient or burdensome to others. So we developed ways to shut down, numb out, or push through without feelings. These strategies often served us well when we were in situations where emotional vulnerability wasn't safe. But if you carry them into your adult life, they can leave you feeling disconnected from yourself, from others, and from the riches of your own experience. The opposite extreme is being completely overwhelmed by emotions, feeling everything so intensely that you can't function, being swept away by every feeling that arises. This can happen when you never learn how to regulate your emotions or when your nervous system gets activated easily. But there is a middle path, which is learning to feel with presence and support. It's developing the capacity to be with your emotions without becoming them, to feel them without being overwhelmed by them. This is especially important as you do healing work. Because as you become more compassionate with yourself, as you start to remember and understand your past, feelings that you might have been keeping at bay can start to surface. This is actually a sign that your nervous system is feeling safer. that it's allowing you to process things that weren't safe to feel before. But it can be scary if you don't know how to be with emotions in a supportive way. So let's talk about how to soften your heart safely. First, it's important to understand that emotions are temporary. They rise, they peak, they naturally subside. Even really intense emotions, if you don't resist them or fight them, will move through your system in their own time. The problem comes when we either try to stop emotions from happening, which creates internal tension and often makes them stronger, or when we get so caught up in the story of the emotion that we amplify it beyond what it naturally wants to be. Softening the heart means allowing emotions to have their natural lifespan without interference. You feel sad, you let yourself feel sad for as long as the sadness wants to be in there. And then you notice when it naturally starts to shift or fade. This requires a kind of trust. Trust that you can handle feeling things. Trust that emotions won't destroy you. Trust that your heart is stronger than you think. It also requires presence. When you are present with an emotion, you are not somewhere else mentally. You are not analyzing why you feel this way or trying to fix it or judging yourself for feeling it. You are just there with it, like sitting with a friend who is going through something difficult. One way to practice this is to think of your heart as having space inside it, like a large open room. When emotions arise, instead of trying to keep them out or get rid of them quickly, you imagine opening the door and letting them come into the room. The emotion might be sadness, or anger, or fear, or grief. You let it come in. You acknowledge its presence. Oh, sadness is here. You might even welcome it. Hello, sadness. I see you. You can be here for as long as you need to be. Then you just let it exist in that space without trying to manage it or change it. You might notice what it feels like in your body or what it wants you to know, but you are not trying to solve it or make it go away. This approach helps you develop what psychologists call distress tolerance, the ability to be present with difficult emotions without immediately trying to escape or fix them. Now, this doesn't mean you have to feel everything all the time or that you can't use healthy coping strategies. Sometimes you need to set boundaries around when and how you process emotions. Sometimes you need support from others. Sometimes you need to take care of practical things first and come back to feelings later. The key is choosing your response to emotions from a place of self-care rather than from fear or avoidance. For example, if you are at work and you feel overwhelmed by sadness, you might say to yourself, I notice sadness here, and it's okay to feel this. Right now, I need to focus on work, but I will make time tonight to be with this feeling properly. That's different from, I can't feel sad right now, this is stupid, I need to just get over it. Softening the heart also means being gentle with yourself about having emotions in the first place. Many of us learned that certain emotions were bad or wrong, that anger made us bad people, that sadness was weakness, that fear was cowardly. But emotions aren't moral categories, they are information. They are energy moving through your system. They are your human heart responding to your human experience. When you can welcome your emotions as natural parts of being alive rather than problems to be solved, you create space for them to flow through you naturally rather than getting stuck or intensified by resistance. This is especially important when you're remembering things from your past, like I mentioned in the opening. Sometimes as you become more self-compassionate, your mind feels safe enough to remember experiences that help explain your current patterns. These memories might bring up feelings that weren't safe to feel at the time. Maybe anger that you couldn't express, or sadness that no one was there to comfort, or fear that you had to push through. Allowing yourself to feel these emotions now, in the safety of your current life, can be deeply healing. But it requires that soft, open-hearted approach where you let the feelings be there without trying to fix them or make them mean something terrible about you. You might feel angry about something that happened when you were young, and instead of judging the anger or trying to talk yourself out of it, you can say, "Of course I feel angry about that. That was hard for that little person to go through. This anger makes sense." Or you might feel sad about ways you were misunderstood or unsupported. And instead of telling yourself to get over it, you can let yourself grieve for what that younger you needed and didn't get. This kind of emotional processing, done gently with self-support, can help you understand yourself better and release old patterns that were formed as protective responses to those early experiences. Let's practice softening your heart around whatever you might be feeling right now, including any tender feelings that might have come up from thinking about your past. Find a comfortable position and take a few slow breaths. Place a hand on your heart if that feels good to you. First, just notice what's present in your emotional landscape right now. Maybe there is sadness, or tenderness, or some anxiety, or maybe you feel relatively peaceful. Whatever is there is perfectly okay. Imagine your heart as a spacious, warm room. This room is big enough to hold any feelings that wants to be there. These walls are strong and supportive, and you are the gentle host of this space. If there is an emotion present, imagine opening the door to this room and inviting that feeling in. You might say, "Hello, emotion. You are welcome here. You can stay as long as you need to." Don't try to change the emotion or make it feel better. Just let it be there. The way you might let a friend sit with you when they are going through something difficult. Notice what this emotion feels like in your body. Maybe there is tightness somewhere, or warmth, or heaviness, or energy. You don't need to fix these sensations, just acknowledge them with kindness. If you are thinking about memories from your past that have been coming up, see if you can extend some gentleness to whatever feelings arise about those experiences. You might say to your younger self, "It makes sense that you feel scared or confused or alone. Those feelings were completely natural responses to what you were going through." And to any emotions that arise now as you remember, you can say, "It's okay to feel this now. These feelings have been waiting for a safe space to be acknowledged." Take a deep breath and imagine breathing space around whatever emotions are present. You are not pushing them away, but you are also not drowning in them. You are creating a container of presence and compassion where they can exist safely. If the emotions feel too intense, imagine stepping back just a little bit while still keeping your heart open. You can be present with feelings without being overwhelmed by them. Notice that you can feel things and still be okay. You can have emotions and still be breathing, still be here, still be whole. Your heart is strong enough to feel and spacious enough to hold whatever arises. Take another deep breath and appreciate yourself for being willing to soften, to feel, to be present with your own experience. This is brave and healing work you are doing. When you are ready, take a moment to close the door gently on this emotional space. Not to shut the feelings out, but to let them rest for now. They will be here when you are ready to be with them again. Feel your heart now. Maybe it feels a little more open, a little softer, a little more spacious than when we started. This week, I want you to practice what I call emotional check-ins with softness. Once a day, take a moment to gently ask yourself, "What am I feeling right now?" And then practice letting whatever comes up just be there for a little while. Instead of immediately trying to analyze why you feel that way or what you should do about it, just practice being present with the feeling. You might say, "I notice sadness here, and that's okay." Or, "I feel anxious about something, and feelings are allowed." If memories or insights about your past come up, practice extending compassion to your younger self and to any emotions that arises. Remember, these feelings might have been waiting for a space to be acknowledged. Pay attention to your tendency to either shut down emotions or get completely swept away by them. Practice finding that middle path where you can feel without drowning, be present without being overwhelmed. Also notice if you judge yourself for having certain emotions. When you catch yourself thinking, I shouldn't feel this way, or this is stupid to be upset about, try to respond with, all feelings are allowed here. My emotions are giving me information about my experience. If emotions feel too intense, it's okay to take breaks. You can say, I see you, and I will come back to you when I have more capacity. This is setting loving boundaries with yourself, not avoiding feelings altogether. Remember, the goal isn't to feel good all the time. The goal is to develop the capacity to be present with your full range of human emotions, with compassion and support. What I find so beautiful about this work is that when you learn to soften your heart safely, you don't just become more available to difficult emotions. You become more available to joy, love, wonder, and all the richness that life has to offer. A soft heart isn't a weak heart. It's a heart that's strong enough to feel, brave enough to be vulnerable, and wise enough to hold space for a full spectrum of human experience. And as those childhood memories and connections continue to surface for you, remember that this is your mind feeling safe enough to help you understand yourself. Trust the process and be gentle with whatever comes up. Next week, in episode 14, we are going to explore healing shame's quiet room. How to work with shame in a way that transforms it rather than fighting it or being consumed by it. Until then, practice softening your heart to whatever you're feeling. Trust that you can handle your emotions, and remember that feeling is healing. I'm on this journey with you, learning to be present with my own tender feelings too. Thank you for being here with me today. Take care of yourself, and I will see you next week.